Welcome back to Brands Hatch for the second race of the weekend here on the legendary Grand Prix circuit for this combined grid of Lotus Cup UK and Lotus Cup Europe runners. We are looking at the battle for production class honours between number 3 Steve Quick and number 5 Ken Savage. A pair of them were at it in the first race of the weekend and it was Steve who prevailed, and it's still Steve Quick who is leading it this time round, with Ken Savage next up in that number 5 car. And then immediately ahead of them, and rather in their sight line, they've got some of the cars from the Exige Cup. It's a multi-class field here in the Lotus Cup Europe and Lotus Cup UK. It's Jonathan Mobbs in car 86 who's immediately ahead of Steve Quick, and so wherever you are on the field there's always somebody to race with. So this is a little bit challenging now for Quick. Does he pass Mobbs or not? Further back we've got David Hay and Dan Plant again in the production class, and again having a super battle, and it's Dan Plant looking to the outside of David Hay as they come to the bottom of the hill, Pilgrim's Drop, and in towards Hawthorns. Hay, who shares that car with John Lamaster over the course of the weekend, but it's Hay who's out behind the wheel this time around. It's Dan Plant immediately on his tail, then it's Tanya Mann who is the next driver up. Great shot there, Dan Plant working the wheel of the number 72 Armagel car as they climb out of Dingledale, up over Sheen Curve, and Plant just putting a wheel on the grass there, almost pitching the car into a slide, but he manages to gather it all up and still stays right on the tail here of David Hay, with then Tanya Mann closing in all the while. This is the fight for third place in the race overall, and that is John Walker from the back of the grid making the move on Pete Story. So John Walker goes up into third position. What a drive this has been from John Walker. So he goes third. In lead of the race, it's still Mark Fullerlove. In second place, it's Steve Williams. They are quite some way up the road. You can't see them ahead of us in the shot. So John Walker, if he's going to move any further up the rostrum, then he's going to have to really put the hammer down now. Although he's passed some 40 cars already over the course of this race. An incredibly impressive performance from John Walker, although not to do John a disservice, but he has won races in Lotus Cup Europe before, so he's not an unknown quantity, and he is known as being a very rapid driver. But this has been a really great drive. Pete Story putting two wheels on the grass as he attempts to stay in touch with Walker as they exit Stirlings and come into clearways once more to complete another lap. Pete Story, who's not been without success already over the course of the 2011 season. Well, Steve Quick there has dropped back from Ken Savage. I wonder if Steve's had a little bit of a problem, because it's Ken Savage who is now coming under pressure again from some of the Exiges in the midfield. That is the 71 Exige of Thierry Hedouin, who is right on his tail. So Steve Quick must have a moment somewhere, because it's now Ken Savage who leads the production class, as he is sandwiched between the Exiges, Jonathan Mobbs and Thierry Hedouin. Now, where is Hedouin going to make his move stick? Well, not really quite onto terms with Ken Savage just yet, and this for Ken is his ideal situation, a buffer car between himself and his production class rival, and it's within each of the classes where the points get paid out. So this for Ken Savage's championship challenge looks good. Here is a replay of it all going a little bit wrong for David Sear coming over Sheen. So David Sear, well, he's just had a spin, he's not hit anything, so he should be able to recover. We go back to the head of the field, and look at the ground already that John Walker's made up on Steve Williams. So this is Steve Williams in second place in the yellow number 18 car, and it's John Walker who's next up. So he must have closed down something in the region of an 8-second gap on Steve Williams in the space of just a couple of laps. Here's the race leader, Mark Fullerlove. He is about to try and put a lap on Carl Vivian in car 21. Wave yellow flags there, Sheen. That's why he's not kicked his way through, but Fullerlove once more looking on course for a fairly emphatic victory. Yes, there's the culprit, a slightly sorry car being dragged away by the recovery vehicle as Vivian moves aside, and Fullerlove continues in the lead of the race. Whatever pace of John Walker, I'm not sure he's going to quite get onto terms with Mark Fullerlove, who has been the quickest driver all weekend from the very outset. David Fenns embroiled himself in a good battle here with Greg Rass, and they've also got Philip Loop in the bright red 77 car on their tail as well, and Chris Setters. So the four of them having a good tussle. So it's the white and raw of Greg Rass, then it's David Fenn in the Go Green Motorsport blackened green machine, then Philip Loop, and then the green machine of Chris Setters. So that is a good battle going on a little bit lower down the order. They are about to come and put a lap on Andy Napier in the production class, as it's going to be a move here for Chris Setters. Possibly he's got the run here on Philip Loop, but at the same time David Fenn has got the run on Greg Rass. Wherever you look, there are battles going on. We've seen a change here for second place. So Steve Williams has dropped now behind John Walker. Let's accelerate out onto the Grand Prix loop. So Williams down into third, John Walker up into second. And once he got onto terms with Steve Williams, he would have ventured that it was only really a matter of time that we were going to see that switch. But Williams looking back to the inside at Hawthorns, but he can't pick his way through. So Walker sets off in pursuit now of the race leader, Mark Fullerlove. So John Walker in second, Steve Williams in third, Pete Story down in fourth position as they climb through Sheen Curve. Now this is a replay of where we saw the move for second out of Hawthorns, and Williams giving enough racing room, and Walker sliding through on the run into Westfields. Great move there from John Walker as he moved up into second position. Walker already trying to put a bit of clear air between himself and Steve Williams in third, but Williams again, as long as he can stay broadly on terms here with John Walker, then that is going to make his third position very secure indeed. So they flash past the pit boards, telling the drivers how long they've got left in the race, what the margins to the drivers around them are, although I think Steve Williams knows exactly what the margin to himself and John Walker is. The race leader, Mark Fullerlove, now in amongst some of the slower cars, and this is when it is going to get really challenging with so many different classes and so many cars on the grid. There are drivers of varying speeds to pick your way through. Well, Terry Hedwar has been waiting on this stick and he's gone past Ken Savage, so the 71 car gaining the place as he looks to move up the order, currently in 19th place, but then Savage continuing his lead to production class, rounding out the top 20. And this again with one eye towards the championship for Ken Savage is looking pretty good here as he arrives into Hawthorns. It's been a mixed weekend for Ken. He was disappointed not to win the production class in race one. He was also disappointed not to win the Lotus on Track Elise trophy, but he's certainly making amends for it here in the second race from Lotus Cup UK and Lotus Cup Europe. And he, on the final lap of the race, is about to go a lap down to the race leader, Mark Fullerlove. So Fullerlove has lapped everybody up to and including the 20th place man, Ken Savage. Such has been the pace that we have seen from Fullerlove over the course of not just this race but this weekend in general. So out of Stirling's and down the hill on towards Clearways for the final time, and it is going to be 2 wins from 2 races this weekend, Lotus Cup UK and Lotus Cup Europe for Mark Fullerlove. He sprints onto the Ram Straight for the final time. He finally completes the lappery of Ken Savage as they run towards the flag, and it's Mark Fullerlove who takes the victory in fairly emphatic fashion from a superb drive up in second place from John Walker, with Steve Williams rounding out the podium. So to run you down the top 10, it was Fullerlove from Walker and Williams. Pete Story in fourth, David Fenn, great drive for fifth, Greg Rass in sixth, Chris Setters in seventh, Philippe Loup eighth, Mark Goudet ninth, and John Rass rounding out the top 10. Now, how did that play out in terms of the classes? Well, the 211 class, it was Mark Fullerlove from John Walker and Steve Williams. In the Avoras, it was Gregory Rass from Thierry Verheest. In the Exige Cup, John Rass taking honours from Glenn Sherwood and Dennis van den Sarvel. In the Open class, David Fenn claiming the honours from Chris Setters and David Harvey. And as we saw in the production class, it was Ken Savage who took the win from Dan Plant and Nigel Ayres. Delighted Mark Fullerlove, getting rather accustomed to standing on the top step of the rostrum where he gets the trophies, the champagne and the Chris from the grid girl. And the applause from the Lotus on Track community as well as the champagne flies on the podium here at Brands Hatch. In terms of Lotus Cup UK, this weekend paying championship points as well in the 211 championship. It's Pete Story who leads it from Fullerlove and Williams. The Avoras, Gregory Rass from Gavin Kershaw and Martin Donnelly. The Exige Cup headed up by Glenn Sherwood from David Sear and Jonathan Mobbs. The Open class from Vital Chauhan from David Harvey and then Paul McNeely and BJ Chong. And in production class, Ken Savage leading the way from Steve Quick and Dan Plant. In terms of the overall championship, it's Ken Savage who has got the advantage of 11 points over Steve Quick from Pete Story and Vital Chauhan, with Glenn Sherwood rounding out the top 5. There is everything to play for in the championship. It's been a great weekend here at Brands Hatch. We'll be back soon with more Lotus on Track racing from Donington and the Nürburgring.